And today, Akron.
Akron.
Nice little matchup. Nice little matchup today for sure.
I'm excited. My mom said she was gonna tune in today
Oh,
for League of Legends.
okay.
My sister goes to University of Akron.
Oh, that's kind of awkward then.
It's kind of awkward.
You're gonna be a little biased.
Yeah, a little bit. So me personally, I hope the Pioneers take this one. If not just for bragging rights,
Right, absolutely.
For my family, but I'm sure the Pioneers would love those bragging rights because this is, I believe, their 4th game and they've yet to have a win on the board this season.
Most definitely, that would definitely be a little booster for the egos of all the Pioneers here. Today, Ribeiro is not playing in, and we have Material Visuals or the boy, the legend, Ricky Robbie. Ricky Bobby is in today, and Ribeiro is not. So yeah. I think that's a really good day to have Ricky Bobby back for sure, though.
I know. Ricky was so excited to be able to play on the league team this year. Those of you who have been around with the Pioneers for the past couple years, you know he's normally up here on the casting desk. So today you're going to have to deal with myself and Ryan.
Yeah, unfortunately.
As we cheer on Ricky there on the team. But as the team members are just starting to get ready and kind of look, what do you think we're going to see in terms of like a team comp and as we see those champion bands start to come in?
Not really sure the team comp. I'm gonna be honest. There's like 160 people in this game, so I don't know. I don't know who's playing who today, but I definitely can say I can give my 2 cents about like strategic from Point Park because last game I casted was against Stony Brook. And
I did see that.
Yeah, that was not a very interesting time, unfortunately, for the Pioneers. But I can say that I think Point Park has been scrimming, and they've definitely been getting their game up on like how they're playing around the map. Just watching them play overall too, I'm definitely seeing some improvements. So I have nothing but the best of hopes for tonight against the University of Akron.
Certainly. And I think that's one thing as you go into a season and you haven't had that win on the board, there's a little bit less pressure. You know, you don't really have that win streak. So, you know, you're just out there and trying new things. And if you do get that win on the board, certainly something to celebrate for the Pioneer fans tonight. But University of Akron, now, I personally have not been keeping up with the League of Legends season thus far. I do not know how they've been doing. But I do know that this might be a tough matchup for the Pioneers. Of course, the last 3 matchups have been a little tough for them as well. Certainly would love to take the first map if you are a Point Park Pioneer.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, at the same time, last few matchups, I think the last 2 were a little close. I don't think Stony Brook was, but the last one, which was...
I believe they... If you want to know how the League of Legends team has been doing thus far, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. We will have recaps of all the League of Legends maps as well as the Valorant maps. I'm actually so blessed right here to have on the analyst desk IGL for the Pioneer Valorant team.
We're here. Yeah, we're here. I mean, I got told last time when I was casting the league game, I was like using a lot of Valorant terms to describe what was going on, so I thought that was kind of funny. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, I guess like it's kind of like a jack of all trades, you know, like it kind of all works in. You know, I can just generally describe what's going on around a lot of the other maps, or other games as well. You know, even without playing them a whole lot.
Yeah, well, it's certainly nice to have that perspective of a collegiate player. I know it's a different game, but you are a Pioneer player, so you do kind of know the process of what the players are going through as they prepare for matches. And I know, again, different type of game, a MOBA versus certainly an FPS. And different kind of strategies are definitely involved, but the Pioneer sort of practice and mindset is definitely still the same, I would imagine.
Most certainly, yeah. I mean, like, well, everyone scrims, right? You know, everyone has that team play together. Everyone like has to work together and just figure out stuff and grow as a whole team together. You know, so that environment is always the same, no matter what game it is. Even if it's like different numbers of people as well, everyone's got their little group, you know, everyone's got their little team, everyone's got whatever you want to call it, you know, everyone's working together and everyone's going to be going through stuff together.
Well, and I mean, I think that's what, again, cannot say much for Akron University, but at least being here as part of the Point Park Pioneers, I love that we have the players and we have different teams and we do have the content team and everyone works so well together. Even Ryan Creep up here is a player himself, but now is up on the desk. So you love to see that kind of synergy and I think that good environment. Definitely hoping that bleeds into the gameplay today.
Yeah, no. I mean, I can do my best describing. I mean, I think I did a pretty alright job last time.
You did an
For
alright
me,
job.
not knowing a whole lot about League of Legends personally, I definitely think that I did an alright job.
I think you did an alright job too. For those of you who did tune in to the Us Map, we did have Ryan and Roxanne up here. It was their first time casting, I believe.
Yeah, for both of us.
For both of them.
First for everything,
so
you know?
definitely did a good job. This is my first time casting League, actually. So you are
your first time casting.
But first time casting League, so you're definitely a little bit more experienced in that department than I am. But we're definitely gonna try our best to bring this game to you guys here today, and I think it'll be fun. And I know some of you viewers at home, I know you're here watching your friends and classmates and family members, and maybe you don't have as much of an understanding of the game. But
you're here to support.
You're here to support. We're here to support, and certainly, we do not know as much as the players. That's why we're up here and not on the team. But we do have a little base knowledge, so we will try to explain everything that's going on as best as possible.
Most certainly, yeah. I mean, I might not know what a Nexus is or what this agent does, but hey, I can tell you we're winning or we're not winning.
And that right there, agent, is that Valorant Speak?
Yeah, there it is. It's leaking out already.
It's already leaking out, and we haven't even started the game yet,
Absolutely.
I believe. But yeah, I believe there's like over 160 different champions.
Yeah, no. I have like a brief knowledge of a few of them. I mean, like Coach Chris is obviously teaching me the game a little bit. So I mean, because I was a little curious, and he's like, you know, hey, you're IGL and Val. You like chess, you know, you like analyzing things, you like math, you know, when we put you on League, I was like, all right, I'll give it a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly, especially coming from your background, I think League would be a good game for you to get into. And I think kind of what would be the hardest kind of hurdles to overcome definitely would just be that knowledge. You know, this game has been out for a while. There's a lot of agents to know, a lot of abilities. You have to buy items in League of Legends.
Yeah, know all the items
exactly.
do, what items that counteract what.
And unlike Valorant or a turn kind of based game where economy resets round by round, there's really just one objective for the full 40+ minute game. So definitely a different type of game, but I think just your background and having that strategic mindset, I definitely think you would do well if you decided to pick it up and put time into it.
I don't think I want to put that much time into it, but it's definitely something to put on the side for sure. I mean, I'm liking it. I mean, like from what coaches showed me and what I've experienced in League so far, I definitely think that's a fun little game.
I wish I had gotten into League like 5-10 years ago when all my friends were getting into it, because I think that
there's so much more now.
So much more, and if I keep telling myself like it's too late to get into it, there's so much to know, and I'm trying my best, but that is exactly why I'm not on the team. But I think that my biggest issues in Valorant has definitely been the extra axis and aiming. So
that's
maybe I do a little bit better on a top-down game. But yeah, so there is a lot to know in League of Legends. We're going to try our best to walk you through that as we start getting ready to get into the game. We're just waiting on some client issues. But until we get that set out, we can only speculate about the game that is to come. But as we're up here talking, I'm getting antsy.
Antsy just thinking about
it. I'm ready to get in.
Me too. I'm ready to look at this map and look at all the different colors popping up.
All the different colors, certainly.
As
we get ready to get into Summoner's Rift. But I mean, I think we were talking about 160+ champions. There's all the different items you can buy and runes and so much to know just as far as like the game itself, and that really speaks to the caliber of these collegiate players that we're seeing up here.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I look at this game and like my brain just kind of like falls apart looking at it, and some of these players are like, yeah, this Mordekaiser does this, this item does that, and like this counter. I'm like, oh, this is like calculus again. All over again,
and so certainly definitely I mean, it just really speaks to the level. And I know I was speaking to Ricky earlier, who, as you remember, was a caster up here before and now is on the team. I know he was so excited, and he's really been working.
He has been working
very
like a hard little student he is.
Little student.
Academic weapon, and League of Legends player. Like,
League of Legends
what
does
else
it all.
Can you ask for?
He's on the Point Park Esports content team.
He's doing it all.
Point Park Esports student athlete. A student as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, I mean, all these guys are all student athletes too at every university. And that's why it's like one big group, even
we
all have our little rosters that go against each other and whatnot. everyone is kind of like one family in sort of a way. You know, we're all doing esports together. We're all doing content. We all have our little schools and we have our little like cliches, sure, and like our little groups and cliques. But at the same time, we're all coordinated in the same way.
I mean, and it's just. You know, it's fun when you get on this team because really the glue that holds, let's say, you guys together, your team or the League of Legends team we're going to see here today is really just the location. But as far as the league itself, you guys are all doing the same things. You're studying, you're playing, you're up here casting.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm casting. Maybe some other guy who plays Valorant is casting tonight too. Who knows?
Maybe next Valorant match we'll get a league player to cast.
Hey, all I can say
crossover event.
All I can say is they've been playing some Valorant, a lot of Valorant. Well, what can I say? They've definitely been playing, and I've been like, oh, you know what's going on? You guys are playing Valorant now, huh?
you better watch out. You know they might take your spot soon.
Oh,
good thing you've been practicing League.
Oh, yeah. So I can go hand in hand.
Hand in hand.
Maybe like role swap
hand
one day.
Hand.
Like I don't know. Let's see one day. Hopefully.
One day. Well, we certainly have a full season ahead. I heard you bring up Mordekaiser recently, so this is bringing back Valorant. But have you had a look into
the new
ISO?
Agent. ISO, he's so cool.
I'm so excited to play him.
Yeah, he's really cool for sure. They definitely, I think they reference that from League of Legends, his ult and whatnot.
Yeah. His ultimate is definitely similar. Again, different style of game and different abilities for sure, but
absolutely. We are not seeing Mordekaiser on the Point Park roster today, though, as we jump into Summoner's Rift. First minute coming on the board here. Looks like we're just waiting for enemies and minions to spawn in.
Minions have spawned.
And there they are, little gremlins. Point Park University versus Akron, going into it now.
Yeah, and as we start to just get into this early game, not a lot of action you typically don't see as we get ready for those bots, and you certainly want to let those bots take the brunt of that damage. I think that's a little thing that's a little bit different from other games is that you do have that added element, and they are there to sort of sponge some of that damage as you try to make your way up to the turrets.
Most certainly, and that's why also League of Legends too. I feel like League of Legends like just generally is a lot longer of a game for that reason, you know, like compared to like any other game. In the esports scene, I think League of Legends just really soaks up a lot of time, just considering how much you have to let your minions just soak it all in, and soak all that damage in, wait for them to respawn, wait for them to get down the freaking lane, you know.
And definitely, as like we start to get into this early game, I think that's what's so important in a game like League is it's really that momentum that we talk about in other games, but is really important in a game like this, because as you start to rack up that gold and get those kills and your XP just kind of exponentially goes up. It does make it harder in the late game if you're not able to kind of get that under the way now. It just makes it harder to kind of face your opponent once they are kind of buffed up.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like, like a lot of the time too is one team's not on top of their stuff, like in the jungle or in gold in general, just constantly getting that income, and the whole team just kind of falls apart, and it's just so difficult to come back in this game. That's why it's also one of the most challenging. That's why I got most respect for League of Legends players, because oh my gosh, I could not do that. But it looks like we got some bot action here in bot lane here. Clippers taking some serious hits from Point Park here. Highway in the mid lane. Keeping them busy in top lane this time. Last time, Kiki and we had a little duel in top always, and there was always something going on with Kiki, but this time looks like Kiki's doing some real damage on the opponent.
And I mean, it does look like, just as we're looking, and we've had a brief glimpse at top lane, middle lane, bot lane, and it looks like Point Park is doing a good job at kind of scaling up. Not quite at that enemy turret, of course, you still have the enemy champion there, so not quite what you want to do is start giving them damage, but they've been able to push up and kind of push past those waves of minions, and that does make it harder there for Akron. In the early game, certainly need to wait for them to get a pick or something just to be able to get that momentum back.
Yeah, most certainly. Ralt's doing lurking in the jungle today, it looks like. Imagine Club and Matari Vigil. No, it's a new Jabes forever. we're just gonna call him Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, we're just gonna call him Ricky Bobby for the old time's sake. Looks like we are getting some space in bot lane over Akron here. Akron's getting kind of overwhelmed, it looks like, as they fall back to their turret.
That's going to be important, again, for the Pioneers to make sure that they're not pushing up too much and being too aggressive, because if they do kind of get in that turret's radius, those of you who maybe are not as familiar with League of Legends, there's a lot more things. And actually, as we're looking in the bot lane here, we can see Akron's jungler just getting ready to kind of gank and team up and make this a 3v2. And it looks like we're getting some action there. And of course, First Blood is going to go to University of Akron there in that bot lane.
What a gank there from Akron as well, though. I mean, that's also another term, too. I feel like a lot of people just generally over here from League 2's gank. You just, I don't know, kind of like a flank or like a lurk almost. But that was like really nice timed of a gank there.
So when we're talking about a gank, there are set roles in League of Legends, just like any game, and we'll see them move around the map, especially as we get into that mid phase. But what you'll see is the jungler, a lot of times their job is really to go around and get gold from these jungle monsters, and then
money.
As we go on, we're gonna see more dragons and heralds kind of Baron certainly spawn. But another job of a jungler is to see, okay, talk to their team and see where can they get that gank or that flank or certainly that numbers advantage. And so certainly a good call by Akron there that they had the fight going on in bot and called their jungler over, and that's why we saw such a great play there. It looks like now in mid lane, Pioneers are being pushed back to their turret.
Are we taking some damage? I want to bounce off of that too. I mean, like when Coach Chris was really telling me about League and whatnot, he really told me that jungle would be a role that I like just for that analytical reason, especially just knowing how to manage and go in and push with your team at the right time. I think that's and just having a read overall is definitely something that is only for the most analytical players, and that was a
definitely
like I said, like we said, a great call by Akron there to go in and gank us.
And I mean, it's hard because the jungler really is supposed to have that control of the entire map, and we saw that gank there in the bot lane, which was certainly beneficial. But you know, you can do the same thing mid or top. So really having those good team call-outs, and I think like a lot of games, but especially in League of Legends, map awareness is so important. And as you're seeing, there's so much space you can take in. League of Legends has this thing called the fog of war, so you can really only see what is in your immediate vision or your teammates' immediate vision.
I didn't know the name of that. I thought it was just like a field of view or something.
It is. I mean, it is a field of view. That is what it is. But there are different things you can place. You can place wards, different things to give you that vision, and that's so important in a game like this when you really have to have that map awareness, and when you don't have that immediate vision, you don't know what your opponent's doing and what's going on. It is just guessing.
Yeah. Looks like Dragon's gonna spawn in here, and Akron's doing some damage on it. Don't like to see that, but obviously we are getting kind of overwhelmed towards the Dragon, which is a great positioning by Akron.
And you know, not even 10 minutes into the game, Akron already has 2 kills on the board, and has when you look at that gold there up at the top, does have a little bit more of that econ buff, which means they're able to get better items and start scaling. And as you get more important items, that gives you better stats as well,
so
which
you
makes
just clean house.
You can clean house. So it's really important to get this beginning phase under control.
I keep scaring off Akron though in top lane though at the same time. Yeah, like having the gold advantage is really important. That's why those big dragons are really important to also farm, which Point Park was not able to do, unfortunately. However,
now as we could see, you can see, look, Akron looking to kind of team up here in that bot lane. Not just their jungler, but they pulled another player as well, as did Point Park University, which means some of these other lanes, looks like mid lane is wide open right now.
Yeah, that's really strange, huh? Looks like everyone's grouping up to try and overwhelm each other. I think Akron, though, are seeing this clearly, and they're taking advantage of that mid position that no one is in right now, and they're just going to honestly take control of that while Point Park try to overwhelm bot lane, it looks like.
And I mean, it's hard. What looked like it was a little bit favored at the very, very beginning, more towards Pioneers as they scaled up. Now they're having to scale back. Not as strong. Now when we look at levels, you can see that number there to the left of everyone's health. Right now we're seeing both are level 8, which means they should have similar stats, but in the bot lane, their support and their ADC, both a second ago were level 5, where Akron was level 6, which means they do have those better stats. And once you reach level 6, you can actually purchase your ultimate.
Oh yeah, that's right. Level 6. I totally forgot about that. I thought it was like you had to be like had a certain amount of like time in the game.
Yeah.
As we approach 10 minutes, we're getting pretty close to halfway point almost.
So and so close. It looks like Imagine Club just able to get out there with their lives, and that was very, very close. To death, and you can see they're channeling, which really just allows you to go back to your base.
That Kazash that you farmed up, you know?
Oh yeah,
So you
can start buying items, definitely refill your HP, and very important, doing it right in the open, but I think they certainly had the ability to with that turret defense in front of them.
Yeah, no, most certainly. That turret does a lot of damage towards any champions. They're called champions? Yeah.
They are called champions.
They called the legends? I don't know. I'm just gonna call them agents probably on accident. But.
Well, they all mean the same thing.
Yeah, no, exactly.
In League of Legends, and as you can see, even here in jungle, it looks like starting to start going for some of those objectives as we get towards
a little
that mid-game phase. But I mean, it's hard, and when you look just at Akron's levels right off the bat, already higher, and what's a little bit interesting about the jungle is that the buffs and gold and everything you get is given to the person who hits, or the team that has that last hit. So it does not matter how much damage you've done all along. It's that last hit that really matters.
Yeah, you could be fighting that monster the whole game, all the way from level 1, and then if the other team comes in and just yoinks that, it's all theirs, you know?
Now, another thing that's so important when we talk about leveling in League of Legends is that so you don't start with all your abilities. You have to purchase them, and you can purchase another ability or level it up each level you get, and that's why we talked about you don't get your ultimate, you can't buy it for level 6.
Some serious damage. Sorry to interrupt, but Highway getting a kill for putting Point Park on the board and overwhelming another Benson from Akron here. But Benson getting that immediate trade.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, from the turret. So if you do damage an enemy champion inside their turret, doesn't matter.
Yeah, it auto targets you.
It just auto targets you, and it also does that if you go in the radius without those
minions.
bots
and
the minions to just sponge up some of that damage.
That's why this game also takes 10 years too. Is because those take a specific amount of time to respawn, and like I said, go down.
Yeah, but Point Park did, like you said, get 2 kills. It's now 2 to 3. Just when we're looking at kills, unlike a game like Valorant, you know, there's no really rounds involved, and kills don't mean anything necessarily, but it does help you get that XP. You know, still deficient in that gold, but we're still pretty early in the game, only 12 minutes in.
Gold gap was a lot larger earlier, but Kiki finishing up top lane there. However, the turret's going to get an immediate trade on that. Gold is getting a little closer than it was. I believe it was around 1.5 thousand of a difference before. Now we're looking to about 1.4. Point Park slowly catching up to Akron's pace here.
And I don't know if you guys saw that there was a huge fight there happening in bot lane. A 1 kill, and everyone kind of looking. It looks like actually a Pioneer tried to channel there out in the open, but not before Akron could get a hit on them themselves. But I mean, that's what's so important in a game. And like any game, when you talk about that flank or that gank, or you know, even just having dive agents where you can go past kind of those waves.
Enemy line.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's so important in a game like this. And look, you know, we saw them trying to just channel back earlier and weren't able to do it. Now they're back at their turret. But besides just really giving you that sort of defense, the important part about turrets is we didn't even talk about what the objective is in League of Legends. Now, we talked about that Nexus, and if you kind of see on the mini-map, there's this big kind of crystal thing, and your job is really to destroy the enemy Nexus while preserving yours. And there are these inhibitors you have to get first, but to even get to those, you have to destroy these turrets that we see them fighting over.
Capture the flag almost.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, both teams have the thing they're trying to protect, and then they're trying to get the enemy's objective as well. The back and forth consistently, and these types of games always are a nice little seat to watch back on.
Yeah, and as we saw turret plating now falling, it is easier to just get those turrets as the plates start to fall, and we can see we saw a couple of Pioneers there in the middle just going after a jungle objective, which will give them a nice buff as they start to move forward. It looks like plating has now fallen, which means it's easier to get these turrets down. And that's important as we see them starting to lose health. The more turrets you can get, the more you can scale up towards that objective.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, breaking turrets is a really big part of League, obviously. I mean, any turret, obviously, is just defense. If the enemy team has more turrets than you, then they're going to have more of an advantage and get more closer to the Nexus, obviously.
Well, and that is important because even if you have, you know, an ace or massive team fight, if your enemies, of course, are able to scale further and get past your turrets, you know, just to even get back at them, you still have to go through those turrets.
Ricky got a little overwhelmed in bot lane there. 3 versus 1. Not sure why he overcommitted to that fight. But Ralts and Khajiit in top lane, focusing on Flippy Stick. I like that name.
Flippy Stick?
Flippy Stick. He got some fun names. Llama Demon, Benson. They're fun names. They're fun names. They're fun. I think the little gumball guy from regular show.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That monster. Yeah. What are those monsters called that Point Park has won over Akron? What are those
oh, that we saw there
in
in the top lane. No, so that is actually no. So Baron is kind of that like Hydra looking.
Oh yeah,
it looks like a dragon.
Yeah, okay. That thing gives the buff. Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, but those were just kind of Well, okay. So there's a couple different things. You slay these buffs and they kind of respawn, and that gives you extra power. So if you're the jungler, like you said, you might be interested in playing. You want to get these buffs, and then once you're ganking with that buff, it's just
free game.
It's free game. It's free game. You're in a 3v2 and you have the buff. Easy, but actually we saw, when we saw them fighting over that objective in the jungle earlier, they were able to get the little scuttle thing, which kind of you can choose which lane it went in. There we saw in the top lane, and that's actually when we talk about a buff right there, and that's what we saw Akron going against.
Attack speed.
Yeah, but the scuttle allows you to kind of push forward with a wave of bots, and it'll help knock down their bots and get to that turret faster. And also, you know, if your enemy's there too, definitely helps as you're trying to fight and scale.
As we approach 17 minutes here into the game, Point Park has a 4,000 gold gap between Akron leading in the gold, and also in eliminations by 5. Akron having 2 dragons, but Point Park does have a turret over Akron. However, that can change anytime soon here. Both these turrets are low in top and bottom. Akron going to pick up another 2 kills in bot lane. It's absolutely fantastic teamwork out of Akron here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the calls, and really it does come, look, we can see there, who is it? Moon Juice, or I didn't quite catch the name of Akron. Moo Juice, that's Moo Juice. Placing some of those wards, which will give vision, but having that map awareness to know where to go and where to kind of fight as a team. I mean, especially when you're under leveled to begin with and have less gold and certainly less items. It's
hard to get out there.
It's really hard to get out, especially when you're in that numbers disadvantage.
Well, Point Park does have a turret. A lot of their own turrets are kind of low at the moment, so it looks like Akron might be grouping up for a push here in a few minutes, especially in mid lane here. We got some action against Highway. Khajiit and Flippy Stick, they're the little top lane couple this game, keeping each other busy.
Just battling it out, and when we actually talked about top lane, it looked like actually Pioneers were a little bit out leveled there. I think it was 11 to 10, which should make their job in top a little easier, but it doesn't matter what's going on in top if you can't get control the rest of the game. And another dragon, and as you kind of go deeper into this game, we're going to see more dragons, and soon the elemental dragon. After you slay 4 elemental dragons, I believe you get the elder dragon. Will then come from there on out. No more elemental dragons that do give you those buffs and the abilities to kind of sway the tides of the game, and these elemental dragons actually change the map.
Yeah, no, they changed the map drastically. I mean, they're just an objective that both teams are trying to go for to get a lot more progress into their enemy team's Nexus. But Highway getting an absolutely insane kill on Benson. Oh my gosh, absolutely just mowing his health down, especially with the level advantage for Akron.
Oh, and unfortunately, Madden Club did just quite miss them with their abilities here in what was a 2v1 situation. Now 2v2, and Pioneers getting some of that health down, and it looks like they're finally going to get Moo Juice, but not in the best of positions themselves, trying to get out of there alive. And it looks like they are going to be able to do that and just kind of scale off. I like the regroup call. The regroup call. That was the perfect call.
Not a little overheat, and we're kind of low as well, so I think regrouping is a really smart play there. Clippers trying to just push them away, though. Just let them know, hey, you know, I want the space back. You know, kill my teammate, kill my brother. You know, let me take this back from you.
Yeah, and I mean, again, still very, very hard for Point Park right now. They still are in a 5-kill deficit. And
the gold too.
And the gold. I mean, that does make it tough. And while this is an objective-based game, it does not matter how many kills you get.
If you can break more turrets than the other team.
You can break more turrets than the other team, but having those extra kills and that gold, it does help because you need to scale and level with that, those abilities and your gold, and it just will make the late game a lot easier. We can see just trying to kill some monsters there in the jungle for a little extra gold, but it's hard.
It's a fun little name. The Jungle.
The Jungle.
I'm going to go to the jungle and kill some monsters, you know? Something like a fun little name like the Jungle.
It's a little...
Looks like Akron did manage to pick up a turret, though, so a turret deficit. And I think Akron does have more damage overall on turrets over than Point Park. We got some action in mid lane, though. Looks like Akron are going to try and push through to this turret and get more space overall to work with. But Point Park are not letting that, giving that space up without a fight for sure, though.
No, and it looks like it's going to be a fight here in mid, but while that's going on, another turret was destroyed. If you look down at the bottom lane.
Nothing is on the bottom lane there. Akron has a full gap. I love that out of Akron. But Highway managing to pick up a kill on Moo Juice. Llama Demon getting a trade back, though, however.
And they are just out for blood here. But unfortunately for the Pioneers, that beautiful, beautiful double kill coming in. And look, now the Pioneers, which looked like they were doing great there, they're having to scale back as we see a triple kill coming in. And
Routes just gets overwhelmed.
Not going to be able to get out alive. Flippy Stick going to get that kill on Routes and going to be able to get out before.
The Baron too, while they're all dead. Oh my gosh, what a bad timing for Point Park. But Akron played their cards really well there, I gotta admit.
They did. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see from a team like this.
Free.
I mean, it's
Akita
so
just
free.
Alone. Cannot do anything about to stop this, and they get the Baron. Now all the buffs are on Akron. Oh my goodness. So they're all going to channel there. What a good call there to regroup after such a successful run in around the 22-minute mark.
Yeah, and I mean, in a game like League of Legends, so the farther you progress in the game, the longer you'll have to wait to respawn after death. And getting all those kills, I think we saw 3-4 in a row.
Yeah, 4 dead.
They were able to just gang up on Baron Nashor, which is the most powerful neutral monster in Summoner's Rift. And it gives them the hand of Baron, which is a buff applied to your entire teammate. And for 180 seconds, you get bonus attack damage, bonus ability power. You can recall faster. It gives a buff to your minions. So definitely hard to deal with. But we are going to see another double kill coming in, but might be
triple kill actually. Oh my goodness.
And the
Akron just pushing up with that Baron buff especially though. They're breaking all the turrets that they really did a lot of chip damage earlier to.
Yeah. Well, especially while that buff is activated, and this is why it's so important. Like we said, this is an objective basic game, but scaling up and getting those kills early on, getting that gold early on, makes you so powerful in this late game. And it's going to be really hard for the Pioneers to kind of push this attack back.
And with 3 dead coming back in now, they're going to try and just defend what they got, you know. They can only defend for so long, though. It looks like Akron is really just playing this perfectly by grouping up and just absolutely perfect timing with the scaling onto the Baron buff.
Absolutely, and it looks like Akron's starting to get towards these inhibitors.
Turret's going down like flies.
And I mean, it's really hard because that kind of puts the Pioneers here on like eternal defense. So even if they are able to, let's say, get a team kill on Akron, they still have to push up. They have all those turrets to go through, and they're not going to be able to make it to the next time. And it looks like another dragon for University of Akron.
For Akron, yeah.
And not only the kills are they up, when we start to look at that gold, I mean, look, that's like
13,000 gold difference against the Pioneers. It's 4 dragons for Akron, you know, just a salt in the wound for the Pioneers here as they try to defend what they got left.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it did look like it was a little bit close there at the beginning, or there was still a hope to turn it around, but Pioneers really, really just have to be stuck on defense here, and they're going to have to make some major plays to kind of have a foot back in this game, and I think, you know, they can still do it. I'm a firm believer in anything's possible,
Absolutely,
but they really have to start making those calls that we've been seeing Akron making all game.
Yeah, no, I think Akron overall, too, just knows how to group up together as well. I saw a lot of individual plays at Point Park. Definitely Akron taking advantage of that and just absolutely mowing house on by grouping up and taking out Point Park Alpha one by one. So they are going to get heavy space into the Point Park Pioneers' base here as they kill off the whole team. That was an ace for Llama Demon.
Llama is a demon.
Llama is a demon for sure. We can't confirm that, but Akron able to just clean up the rest of Point Park's turrets and inhibitors.
And I mean, look, it's like almost 15, 20 seconds before Point Park's even going to be online. And just with all this power that they have, the entire team there, they're going to get the inhibitors. They're on the Nexus now, and that's going to be a fast GG's right here.
That's game
25 minutes.
25 minutes. It's usually pretty quick for a league game,
That's pretty quick for a
goodness.
league game, absolutely. I mean, nice try, Pioneers.
Yeah, absolutely nice
You
try.
guys did a great job, but I mean,
Akron did play together.
Akron had a beautiful, beautiful game. I have no notes.
No notes.
No notes.
Hey, it was a pretty quick one.
It was a quick one.
I definitely think Coach Chris can pull out something out of the little playbook, you know.
Yeah.
Hopefully launch Pioneers back into game 2 here and make it 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw a lot of good things from Pioneers. Like you said, certainly some nice individual plays. And I think this is a really good game to kind of VOD review.
Most certainly. Oh, yeah.
To just kind of look, okay, where did that momentum come in? And you can see they're already talking because there is another game that's coming up next. Certainly a lot to talk about. And sometimes, you know, quick victories or defeats are harder to deal with because it just kind of snowballs.
Yeah, no.
But I think in a game like League of Legends, being able to be like, okay, here's where it all went wrong. Here's where it started to snowball.
You can cherry pick it. You know, I feel like in League you can really cherry pick it. But with Valorant, you know, or like a game like Valorant where it's round based instead of the whole thing's in front of you, you can't really like pick out what went wrong.
What exactly went wrong.
One thing went wrong could go something completely completely different can go wrong in the next round.
Exactly, and you know,
just by switching it up.
Exactly, and I mean, I think you, especially being on the team, you know, we see a lot of great things from you guys. Like we're able to see it in real time because it's round based. We see those thrifties, you know, around that shouldn't be able to win, or we see someone clutch, and you can see moments like that in League of Legends. But just because it's just one big round, it does make it harder.
Yeah, it does make it hard to get like a momentum energy, propel yourself forward. I mean, with like games like that or round based like that, you know, you get the time to reset for a second and then like, oh, nice job, you know, and then use that energy to move forward. But like with a game like League of Legends and Point Park's rosters mostly being very emotionally based rosters where they need something big to happen and that just launches them into throughout the rest of the match.
Yeah, and I know, you know, I personally saw it a lot in the Valorant season, and we're just getting started in the League season, but I think it's going to be a lot like that in a game like League of Legends, and like Valorant, but League of Legends, another important aspect of these games is the economy, and unlike Valorant where you kind of have that reset between rounds or between halves, you have a hard reset.
Yeah.
You don't have a reset at all.
There's no reset. You just gotta keep going.
You can't be, okay, I won these 2 rounds, I thrifted, now they're on a broke buy. Like, no, you keep those abilities, you keep those items you buy, and that just scales you up. So it's a lot harder because there's really no chance to reset that momentum. You just have to gain that momentum yourself.
The only break you get is when you die, and dying does not equal good things in League of Legends. Yeah, it's not a good one. When you die in League, you're probably sitting there thinking like, oh, what did I do wrong? You know, how's that going to affect my team, right? And not focused on like anything that could happen, rather in the game. You know, like what the enemy team's doing that makes you lose your focus a lot more. So. And like a round-based game like that, you can take a moment and be like, all right, well, what are they doing? What are they thinking? But in League, I feel like it's a lot harder to think about that off rip, you know, especially me being as inexperienced I am with this game too. So
I mean, you and me both, and yes, we know the basics, but the Pioneers sure know a lot more than us, and as does University of Akron. But hopefully, you know, that was a quick defeat for the Pioneers, but hopefully they're able to regroup. and get ready for this next break, or this next game, because they do have another game. One game's out, but this is still a series. They have to reset.
0-0.
And I'm sure
0 seconds, yeah, 0 minutes.
In-game leader, you know a lot about that. But as we let these players kind of regroup, we are going to go to a quick 5-minute break as we let players from both teams get ready to go in. And unfortunately, I am going to be stepping out, but Ryan Grieve himself is going to stay up here as we are joined by another fabulous caster. So don't go anywhere, guys. We will be right back.
Get your inner zen. Ooh, sa. Welcome back. Welcome
We're back
from
guys.
our USA little Zen session.
I might look a little bit different than Kai.
Yeah.
That's because I'm not Kai. I'm actually stepping in for my first game casting here. My name's Shandon. I work for the casters and crew, so I do a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff you guys see on the stream here, and wanted a good change of pace. So
yeah, no. So we put two dudes on League of Legends who don't know a whole lot about the game. So
yeah, that's look. I know a decent bit about Val. I'm learning as we go, but when it comes to League, I'm pretty much an absolute noob.
Yeah,
so.
no. I mean, I've the very basics on down pat, but I'm looking at the game and I'm still like, what the heck is going on? You know?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the basic stuff is pretty simple once you start to learn it. But the more into it you get, the scarier it gets, because you just look at these crazy team fights and you're like, I don't even know what's happening.
You know, what does this ability do? Why is this dude like reel this dude in and throw him against the wall? You know?
I mean, don't even get me started on the champions. There's what, like
160, yeah, 100
160?
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a lot to learn for sure. If you have any interest in casting League, I'd start doing your homework.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks like Point Park unfortunately had to take that loss on the first map against Akron.
Yeah.
It was quite a quick one as well, but I definitely think that Point Park can make it a much closer one after Coach Chris gave him some nice words.
Yeah, it's definitely a winnable game. I feel like these teams are about the same when it comes to actual play level. Point Park definitely made some simple mistakes that they can work on adjusting, and I feel like they can definitely make a little road for a comeback here. I think it's going to take some persistence and few tweaks and changes here and there, but
yeah, most certainly. I'm wondering if Coach Chris definitely mentioned to them about taking these individual fights. I definitely saw a lot of individual overheating and overextending going out of game one, but from an outsider point of view. But I just have to wonder if Coach is definitely going over that, or went over that with them, or bringing that into them with the pre-draft here.
Yeah, it's dragging out those 1v1s is only going to inflict damage and cause some more team loss, because if you have players constantly respawning and you don't have group ups or great recon, then it's going to cost you in the long run. So you got to be careful.
Oh, okay, guy with the little flex on the muscles. All right.
Kakid is actually full out there, gym bro.
Yeah, full out there.
Rock climb,
Ricky's been doing that too. I believe Lucas there, or Raltz is also a little rock climbing, John.
Yeah, they're definitely a very physically fit League team for sure.
It's very important in just esports in general to be very
it is
physically active. It's not required obviously like any other sport. However, it definitely soothes the mind. I'll be honest.
And as always, does. Mental health is really important, and it's definitely an escape for these guys. Playing League is hard. It's taxing on your mind.
Yeah, I barely know what the heck's going on watching it. I can't imagine how these guys are playing, managing all that stuff. I can manage a little bit with calling in Valorant, but not in this game for sure. I had no clue what's going on, and I can only imagine how that tolls on these players. But they all deal with it. They all bring it back with smiles on their faces, and they love what they do, and you got to give props to them for doing that, and also being student athletes as well in school.
Yeah, and it's they have a lot of early morning practices as well. I've heard.
Yeah, no.
Heard they're up practicing bright and early, and then they play these late games. So, my props go to them.
Exactly. I could never do that. Practice in the morning, have the rest of the day to just relax and probably just play more League of Legends because you have your match tonight. So, and then they get here at 8:30. And they're real troopers. I gotta give it to them.
It's definitely a high-level commitment team we have going on here, and hopefully throughout the season we can kind of translate that into more wins and get the season going pretty good here.
Certainly, yeah. I'm excited to go into game 2. Can barely contain my excitement, as you can tell here. I'm really excited to see how Point Park really bounces back against Akron tonight.
It's hopefully we get a good bounce back here. Like I said, simple mistakes. If we fix a lot of these simple mistakes, we're going to be making waves in this next game here, and we'll bring it to a game 3.
I agree. And as last Matt mentioned, both Kai and I mentioned, Point Park's a really emotional-based team. A lot of these rounds, or even just any of our esports, we're all really momentum based. If we can really get a nice kickoff in the start there, we can really rock with that and go through into the throughout the match, and really take over like more dragons and barons and just a lot more of objectives overall. I definitely want to see that at Point Park in map 2.
Hey, you know what they say, confidence is key, right?
Yeah,
if
you make it.
Start off nice and strong, you get the confidence, and everything will roll out smoothly. We see the same thing with Val as well. Got to get that early kick start, kind of show them who's boss, and once we get it rolling, it's hard to stop it.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to come out strong for the second game, and if anybody can do it, it's this Point Park League team we got right now. We are missing one player though.
Ribeiro,
Ribeiro is out today, and we
Ricky
have
Bobby,
the legendary Ricky Bobby filling in.
Love that dude.
So.
Gotta love that dude. Shout out to Ricky Bobby. We should get some T-shirts or like some merch or something.
The Ricky Bobby
I love
Esports
Ricky
t-shirt.
Bobby. Yeah, we should do that. We should really do that. We should really be getting a T-shirt for Ricky Bobby. Bro is a absolute stud.
He is, and he actually came from the casters and crew. He was full-time casters and crew all the way up until this year, and they finally gave him a tryout, put him on the roster.
And he made it.
Yeah, he's been a backup recently, but he's definitely made a lot of progress in the past year, and I'm proud of that guy for making the jump. You know, he was
some tough stuff. It's some really tough stuff, especially with this game too. You know, like I barely know what's going on looking at it. I can't imagine how Ricky Bobby not only balancing school and working and all that and whatnot, and being a content lead on the media team here at Point Park.
Everybody in chat, go ahead and drop a hashtag. We love Ricky.
We love Ricky.
He really does the
we
most
love
for us
you
out here.
Yeah.
So gotta show him some appreciation.
Hey, but we also love the rest of our League of Legends players. Though we can't.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not all just Ricky Bobby. You know, everyone else is equally as special and unique, and we love everyone on the league team.
Actually, you know what? Change that hashtag. Hashtag we love League.
We love League.
That's what we want to see.
League of Legends. We have the League of Legends on the Point Park roster. I think I can definitely say that. The Legends. We're gonna hit up Riot Games after and get these guys in the game.
It's actually it looks like we're getting ready to go into the game here. It looks like the pre-draft selection has finished up. Still getting a little bit of a pep talk from Coach there.
Yeah, Coach is getting some tweaks out. Looks like there's a little monitor issue. I don't know.
Yeah, it's you know what I've noticed? The League client has more technical issues than any other game I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, we hate League client. Okay, we hate the League client. We don't
seriously.
We don't. We love League, but we hate the League client.
See, as I said,
League Legends needs to run their game.
I'm usually working behind the scenes a little bit, so I direct here and there, and I've seen my fair share of the client crashes from our observer standpoint. And
let's drop a hashtag fix League client in chat, everybody.
They're just gonna be hashtagging everything now.
Yeah, no, it looks like they're doing that.
That's our call right now.
That's our wave. It's the wave. Back in 2013.
Yeah, I was gonna say the hashtag wave came and went years ago.
And if you want to get more League of Legends action, be sure to go on our social medias. Got YouTube, TikTok, Twitter,
pretty
Facebook,
much anywhere
and
on your
Twitch
phone
here.
you can find us.
Instagram.
Show some love, support us everywhere. Thank you guys for tuning into the stream as always. Being on these streams is the number one thing that we try to accomplish, and getting you guys in here and active in the chat is something that makes every one of our days. These players love to know that they're being seen, and it means the world to them. So
feels good. And as a player myself, it's always nice to have some people in the stream and definitely watching the game. Even if they're just watching, not saying anything in the chat. It's always nice to have some heads in there watching the game.
Yeah,
watching us play.
Definitely makes it feel more worth it. And also on socials, we're constantly active. We make posts every day on every platform. Game results, game highlights, sometimes just random fun
funny
snippets.
moments. Yeah.
So it's definitely worth checking out. If you get the chance, go ahead and check that out. Every once in a while, you'll see a pop-up down here with the QR code. When that comes up, go ahead and scan that QR code, and it'll take you to our socials page. So it's like I said, it's worth checking out.
Show all of our socials. I might say we're on Grubhub or like Apple Maps or Pinterest or some random map like that. But if you scan the QR code, you'll see all of our socials, and you should definitely follow us on all of them.
Point Park Esports now available on DoorDash.
On DoorDash. DoorDash?
Redbull, obviously.
Our sponsor, absolutely. Let's crack a fresh one right now, actually.
He's getting ready for this game too, folks.
Yeah. Refreshing, cold.
Got a little pre-league ASMR going on here.
Whoa. Put this on YouTube?
Everybody in the Twitch chat's like, clip that.
Clip it. Clipped and sent to all your employers.
But yeah, it looks like we're getting ready to go into the second game here. And, the tables could turn here. This could be a big change.
Especially this one right here. This table can definitely turn. But I want to see Point Park turn around for sure.
Yeah, we're all hoping for a turnaround here. And like I said, small mistakes. Work out the kinks. Hopefully, Coach's pep talk definitely did them a little bit of a solid here, and we see some improvement coming into the second half.
I definitely think there's going to be at least a little improvement. Whenever I casted the Stony Brook game a few weeks ago, Point Park did struggle in the first map a little bit, but Coach Chris gave him some words, and the second map was definitely a lot closer, and they definitely put up a fight a lot more than the first map.
And that's what you want to see. I mean, nobody wants to see.
That's what Coach is for, right?
Yeah, nobody wants to see their home team lose, so making those adjustments and coming in even stronger the second game and potentially even a third game is the way we want things to go. So, looks like the boys are getting set up out there now. We're getting just a little bit closer to game time here, and I think they're about ready to roll. and we're hoping for the best here. We'll guide you through the game best we can.
Best
Give
we
you
can,
guys
yeah.
the best commentary we can with our very minimal league knowledge, but we'll make it work, and we'll definitely keep it entertaining for the viewers here.
We definitely will. Yeah, no, it'll be an entertaining time for sure. It looks like players are getting headsets on as we jump into map 2 in Summoner's Rift.
That's sign it's go time here. It's looking like great evening in Summoner's Rift.
Yeah.
So,
is there time in Summoner's Rift, you think?
Probably.
They got EST, PST, you know.
They run on EST. It's evening in Summoner's Rift now.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Well, we're running on EST for sure here at Pittsburgh, PA at Point Park University.
Yeah, so looks like we're getting real close here, folks. Putting on the headsets, getting ready to go, getting all comfy in their chairs, and coach is finishing up with some final comments.
We're eating some food, okay. Yeah, let's get your popcorn, get your Stromboli, get your Twizzlers, get your Whoppers. We're going into map 2 here as we go in the band wave.
And as all you Point Park students may as well know, get your Genoa's Pizza.
Genoa's Pizza.
So we're going into the pick and bans here. We got Kikid banning first, about 20 seconds on the clock. He makes his ban. They determine a lot of this in a pre-draft, though. For those of you who don't know, for Collegiate League, they do a pre-draft online where everybody selects picks and bans prior to the actual pick and ban screen in game. And then what they do is they come into this pick and ban screen and they actually speed through. So this is just a way for the viewers to see what's happening. But these players and champions and bans have already been selected. So it's kind of a speed round.
Yeah, and they all do this predetermined in the stream. You know, it just also looks nicer on the stream too. Get right into the game, right into the action. You know.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely adds a nice touch to it.
Interesting ban from Point Park though. They ran the Jinx at last map, I noticed, and they wanted to ban it, which is I thought that was really interesting. But at the same time, you know, maybe they just didn't want to have Akron take advantage of that Jinx pick.
Which the Jinx picks.
That was definitely a great pick last map. We saw Imagine Club.
Yes.
Imagine Club absolutely rocking it with the Jinx last game.
Look, Jinx is, I will say, slightly overpowered.
Yeah, no, I have to say, get a nerf Jinx in chat.
Nerf Jinx. No, they could never. Highway is a great player on Jinx, though, for sure.
I agree. Yeah,
it's nice to see that pick come up, but the ban is a little bit surprising. So we'll see what they're planning to do with that here.
I agree. They're all just cars in Highway's world. One big highway.
That's a joke that'll definitely get us off air because that was so terrible.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
We'll just move on from that one. It's
yeah,
okay.
well, I think Ricky Bobby on the Blitzcrank. Okay.
Yeah, that Blitzcrank.
Was it? I think he played him last game too.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Ricky Bobby playing Blitzcrank is a pretty common theme.
Very big support guy. Hey, but yeah, I love Ricky Bobby for doing that though. That's also like one of the hardest roles in the league, you know?
Yeah, being support is always difficult. You know, you have to make all these different gank changes and everything. You have to be prepared for any situation.
You gotta heal, you gotta like set your team up. You always gotta be by your team no matter what. And if you're caught alone, then well, why are you supporting, you know?
Yeah, that's true. And,
what are you doing fighting alone with the weakest guy in the game? Meant to help out your teammates, you know?
As a support, you never want to get caught alone. You know, you're one of the most helpful players, but also typically one of the weakest as well.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I feel like there's a wide variety in League. That's what I like about it. There's a wide variety of different. You know, there's a tank who also could be a little weaker overall, but does a lot of damage. You know, there's some support guy who's like super buffy, but at the same time, you know, it doesn't do like any damage. You know.
Yeah. So
it's so much variety in League, and that's what makes it really interesting game going in.
Yeah, the
versus something like, you know, like Valorant or, you know, like another game where there's a really finite amount of people and abilities and whatnot.
The variety of gameplay is definitely something that I enjoy. Just learning League now, you realize there's a million different aspects to the game, a million play styles, a million different champions you can play, and I think everything attributes to having this game that is very well-rounded. I mean, most games you'd play the same map, which in this case would be Summoner's Rift, you know, 100 times, and you'd be like, all right, I hate this now.
But it's fun for some reason.
Every time you play a game, it's a different scenario.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what makes these games so much fun as well, you know, and adds so much depth to it. You know, you think that the strategy of it, do this, do that, game over, right? But with all these characters and stuff, it makes it different every single time. And then also, we're all humans playing this game too, you know? Like, we got brain too. We have some strategy in our little heads, you know? So at the same time, that's what makes a lot of these games so different every single time too, is because we're all just on our human chessboard. We're all knocking pieces, moving, and taking space.
The way League is different, though, from Valorant with strategy is with League, it's a lot of on-the-fly strategizing.
Oh, yeah,
you adjust to your situation and make changes based on that.
Valorant's more round by round, you know? Like, there's no round by round in League. It's all it's all in the moment, you know?
Yeah, so again, utmost respect to these guys for being able to make those adjustments on the fly and make everything work the best they can.
Yeah, no, I mentioned this with Kai last map. Yeah, you just got to respect them, you know? I mean, I can't imagine, like, with a little break period in Valorant I got, usually I can recollect my thoughts and think for a second, and then even just for a few seconds, and that helps me astronomically. But in this game, you know, everything's happening all at once, and you got to be on top of your stuff. If you're not, your team falls behind. And so it's RAFs, basically.
That's the way it goes.
A lot of pressure, definitely, over a more round-by-round based game.
Yeah, so definitely Point Park feeling the pressure a little bit here, going into the second game here.
Most certainly.
But we're hoping for a turnaround. It's definitely in the picture as well. This Point Park team we have is very sound, and
I got faith. I have
faith as well
in Coach Chris, in all the league guys, Ricky, Bobby, you know, Kai, everybody, Highway,
Raltz.
Luke, Raltz, Lucas,
even other Lucas Rubiero, who is not here today. We have faith in him as well. It's he'll be joining us.
I bet he is supporting even from afar. In his head, he knows those are my boys.
It's true. It's these teams definitely stick together. I feel like Point Park Esports has some of the best chemistry out there.
I agree. Yeah.
That's one of the things we appreciate as well.
Everyone hangs out outside of game time, even on every roster we got. You know, everyone makes sure they are best friends with the people on their team. You know, they're not just teammates. You know, I mean, I feel like a lot of people who have these bigger clubs, especially in these bigger schools, they just, oh, hey, I know you.
Hey, best thing in gaming is communication.
Exactly,
right?
and the best way to do that is being friends with each other, man. That's the most important thing. Everyone's got to love each other, you know. Everyone's got to have that that little brotherhood, you know, that little brotherhood, in order to that little bond, you know. If you're not doing stuff together, why are they your team, you know? I mean, might as well get as close as you can with them.
I agree with that, and it also
because it rubs off in game.
Yes, it does. It really definitely does. It's you see that with the communication being strong. Like I said, League's about making changes on the fly. These guys are comfortable communicating anything to each other, even calling each other out for mistakes, which, you know, it helps them in the long run.
Exactly. Yeah. No. If they can hold each other accountable, make each other better players. That's what we really want to see out of our pioneers. You know, that's what we strive for. And I feel like even in just all of our athletes here at Point Park, that's really the vibe that's set. You know.
Yeah, and that's like I said, that's a great thing. It does look like our delay is about over though.
Yeah.
So we should be getting into game time now.
Well, talking goes a long way, you know.
Yeah, seriously.
Get a little lost in conversation. I bet all of our viewers here are on the edge of their seats as we go into map 2 here.
All right, we're going into map 2. Looks like we're getting basic setup started here.
Waiting for minions to spawn in.
Yep.
As the minute approaches.
We've been about a minute in game here. That delay ran a little bit long, but doesn't appear anybody has missed anything as of now. So. And we do have a little bit of lag on the game feedback here. Seems to be getting a little better now, though.
However, minions are spawned in.
Yeah, here we go. We're closing in the final seconds here before the action starts happening. Looks like you got Kikid and Raltz setting up together.
Highway in mid lane.
Yeah, Highway coming down mid.
Magic Club and Ricky Bobby, both in the jungle, just playing together there. Looks like we have some immediate action in mid lane, though.
Yeah, I got Highway here. Facing off against Benson.
Like I said last time, anytime I read his name, I'm just going to think of the gumball machine from Regular Show. That little dude, that angry dude.
I do know exactly what you're talking about. That brought a memory that I entirely forgot about. Looks like Ricky Bobby's coming in to join the fight here. Ricky Bobby is New Job Ace Forever, for those of you who don't know. We refer to him as Ricky Bobby as kind of an inside joke, so my apologies for that. But it looks like we got a 2v2 going on here.
In bot lane.
And then up top, we also have a Kikid and Flippy Stick fight going on, just a 1v1.
Keeping each other busy, you know. That's you gotta love Kai for that. He's always in top lane, always keeping the other opponent busy, as the other opponent usually would, you know. Just gonna be exchanging some hits overall on all sides of all fronts of the map.
Yeah, it looks like there's no stalemate anywhere yet. It just seems to be very slow-paced 1v1 and 2v2 down here. Yeah, it's very slow-paced so far. But it looks like we're exchanging a fair amount of hits here, dealing a little bit of damage, but also taking some as well.
Kiki taking some real hits in top lane, though.
Yeah, he is. He's taking a lot of damage up there. I mean, he's dealing a fair amount of damage as well, too, though.
Exactly. I feel like that's like both of their roles.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, we have a
gonna take it.
real fight. I think Kiki's going to actually kill on the
Can he hold him off? Looks like Kiki's getting kind of low there as well.
Looks like they both had a mutual agreement. You know, hey, maybe we'll reset a second.
Looks like Imagine Club and New Job Base Forever have both healed. A little bit more health on the line here, and they got Moo Juice and Clippers coming to face them in a 2v2 here. Mostly just a minion fight.
Right. Flippy Stick gonna be low. Kiki and Flippy Stick just having a little stare off, you know, a little Midwestern.
It's the
just
quick
a little
draw
stare
battle
off.
here.
Yeah, a little quick draw. Whoever can do the most damage in a short amount of time.
Kiki looked like he had a little bit more health though, so I think he has potential to win that little 1v1 up there up top.
Point Park's gonna be overheating a little bit, getting absolutely ganked by out of nowhere.
There it is. Clippers
Akron
gets the first blood there.
Seems like that's what they struggled with last game as well. Imagine
Magic
getting
Club.
overwhelmed.
He's trying to retreat, but
nothing he can do there.
No
Clippers
luck
gonna
there.
Be slaying him.
Got Highway coming up here on Benson. Looks like Highway has a little bit more health, can fend for himself a little bit better. Still got Kiki and Flippy Stick going at it, very slowly paced.
He's really pushing him back, huh? Taking all that space. However, in return, Akron do have all of bot lane getting those 2 kills on Point Park.
That is true. It's you know, we're starting to get a little bit of top control, but a little bit of control in mid there. But that bot lane is falling short very fast.
Yeah. Don't like to see it if you're Point Park especially. Gold advantage for Akron here. Looks like it's going to be a 1,200 gold lead for Akron over the Pioneers.
So, hey, gold is one thing that we can change very fast in this game.
Exactly. Very early game as we approach 5 minutes here, but at any time, I always like to keep our viewers updated of
what's going on
what's going on in the little Summoner's Rift.
Looks like you got New Job Base Forever coming up here on a 1v1 with Moo Juice. As they close into that first blue turret.
Get that space back in bot lane that we lost earlier.
Yeah,
like they're going to be channeling, just giving up completely.
Imagine Club coming in to join the fight as well. Looks like a slight retreat here, but they're not going far. They'll be back around for seconds. You got Llama Demon.
Jungle lurking around.
Lurking around the jungle up there.
Yeah. Did see on map there. Dragon gets spawned in here. Let's see who can get it. If Point Park can get this dragon, that'll set them so far exponential and have a lot of exponential growth to really bounce back into this game here and take map 2.
Getting that first dragon is definitely a huge advantage.
Yeah, most certainly. Gives you a lot of gold, a little bit of buffs.
You know what I want to see today? I want to see Point Park take a dragon soul.
Whoa. They did last week. Yeah. And they can do it again today. I believe
they would love to have that buff.
I can most certainly believe they did it on Tuesday. Really close matchup on Tuesday. However, the Pioneers did fall short, which is really unfortunate. Really close matchup.
And still got Kiki and Flippy Stick going at it at the top here.
Well, top
Flippy
lane
Stick
lovers.
Still a little bit low. Not much action yet, though. Still have only 2 bloods on the board. Akron with both.
I think bot lane's a little open right now. I believe Point Park are aware of that, and they're going to shift over Ricky and Imagine Club to take that space back.
Yeah, it looks like you have a
Highway, though, in a duel.
Flare happening down to the bot lane.
Oh, and Highway just barely falls short to Benson there.
Looks like Akron's working on getting that dragon as well at the moment.
Looks like, and Akron did actually manage to get that dragon.
Point Park didn't want anything to do with that.
That's something from last game, too, I noticed. Point Park or Akron were really good at finding the objectives when they spawned in and grouping up on them and just setting up, you know, saying, hey, you can have all the space in top, mid, or bottom, you know, and let Point Park gladly have it. And they didn't realize what was going on until that dragon was halfway or almost dead.
See, I think what makes the difference is Akron has their players rally to the dragon, whereas Point Park has a more spread base. So when it comes to Akron moving in on the dragon, they're just outnumbered.
Yeah,
so
and they
it's a
can't
difficult
do
battle.
anything. Yeah, you can't really. Once the whole team is there and the dragon, you know, it's kind of hard to get them off. But it looks like Akron is grouped up in bot lane there, getting a kill on Point Park.
Imagine Club goes off there as well. We got another Kiki Flippy Stick battle going on up there. It's just been kind of maintaining up there at top. Highway is coming in with Benson here. Doing a fair amount of damage.
His revenge. He wanted his revenge on Benson, but Benson was going to retreat just in time.
You know what? Ever since you said it, I can't stop thinking about the
little
Benson.
Purple gumball machine guy.
Yeah. From regular show.
Yeah, a little anger issue manager.
I can tell you this is no regular show with 2 very unexperienced casters.
Yeah, watching League of Legends on Summoner's Rift this evening.
Kakid retreating a little bit here, coming back onto Flippy Stick. Looks like Minion's just holding off for now, and he's going to go ahead and deal some damage, but not too much. They're sitting about even now. This top lane doesn't have too much action. It's just a very slow, drawn-out fight we have. But it doesn't look like either player is really trying to make an insane push away from that top lane.
They're always just keeping each other, they're just exchanging hits always, and they're just trying to keep their minions pushed up.
They're keeping each other busy for now. So other objectives around the map can be worked on, and you know what? That's a good strategy.
It is, yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of the action happens towards bot and mid a lot of the time, not towards top. Like top's more of like a lurk lane, and you really just give up top.
A lot of League is working, bottom to top. You're gonna work outside in.
Yeah, you always want to. It's also, we discussed this last map as well, it's a really big job for the jungler to realize what gaps there are in the enemy team. Usually that could be top, right? But realizing what's going on around every lane too, and realizing where you can step in and really make a difference. But it looks like Flippy Stick going to be doing some serious damage on Kakid there as he retreats back to his turret.
And looks like we still have a 2v2 going on down here between Jabez Forever and Imagine Club. And Jabez is really low on health and goes
Clippers!
Clippers is making some damage as well on Imagine Club, but Imagine Club is returning that fire. Dealing a little bit of damage here, but he is outnumbered. It is a 2v1.
But Highway...
Also 2v1, yeah, with Highway
getting
up there.
A clean kill on Benson.
That was Point Park's first blood.
Really showing him the speed limit on that Highway there in mid lane.
All right, look.
Yeah, I gotta stop with the Highway puns.
Looks like Akron's about to... Well, they were making an attempt to capture there, but no such luck.
Waltz comes out on top, though. He was so low.
Waltz coming out with another kill here, potentially.
And trading out Clippers. Clippers did manage to find Imagine Club, but Waltz there finding the trade.
That was a great trade.
That was a very great trade. Getting control for the Pioneers in bot lane.
Puts the blood count at 7-3 in favor of Akron. We also have a gold count also in favor of Akron. It's going to be 17.1k to 14.8k. So Akron's leading a little bit on the econ here and bloods. They also have one dragon as well, but still very early on in the game. We're just barely rounding 10 minutes. So.
Yeah, approaching 10 minutes here.
You got Benson dealing some damage here on this turret, but Highway's not going to let that stand. He starts moving in to push him away.
Levels are pretty even, which I think definitely was the struggle last map and for the Pioneers, is that they were just kind of out-leveled and they kind of just got pushed off of everything they tried to go for, any objective or any map space, and that was really unfortunate for them due to Akron's advantage. I mean, Akron got all 4 dragons last map, but I don't believe the Pioneers are going to let that happen that easily this map.
The average level we're seeing right now is 7 on both
sides. Getting ganked, though, out of nowhere in top.
He goes down. That was just pure outnumbered. Purely outnumbered. Highway also on a 2v1 here.
Yeah.
Looks like he's getting him to retreat a little bit.
Point Park should realize this. They see Clippers alone. They usually always had 2 in bot lane, and they only see 1 right now. They should always be suspecting something, I feel like.
Yeah, and that comes down to communication. They need to be prepared for that gank, that little change.
Ooh,
that
Clippers.
Clippers with a pretty clean double kill here.
Yeah,
so.
Oh my goodness.
It's not looking good for this first turret up here in bot. Looks like they're moving in on it now. Yeah, and since they've attacked our players, they're going to get auto-targeted here by this turret.
The shields still are up, it looks like, on these turrets, though. So, I mean, they're not doing a whole lot of damage, but at the same time, well, Point Park have to respawn in and they have to regroup, but they're excited. I believe Point Park are just going to give this turret, unfortunately.
And, hey, to be fair, giving this turret could mean the difference between losing 2 and losing just this 1 for now.
Absolutely.
But getting that chance to regroup is going to help them.
Yeah, for sure. Akron did get on the objective, though. There's a dragon that spawned in, and Point Park are like, hey, we don't want you to take that easily.
Imagine Club's coming in here to fight.
All Point Park really don't want. They killed the dragon, while Point Park were being shoved off of it, unfortunately.
Now that 2 dragon advantage is definitely going to be huge in favor for Akron. Hopefully Point Park can stop, further advancing that dragon advantage, but looks like we're focusing on protecting our turret for now.
Yeah, Point Park going to be struggling in the economy here. It's a 4,000 gold gap almost.
Yeah, it is a pretty big gold gap, also a pretty big kill gap, but, in the end of the day, kills don't matter.
Exactly. If you still break the turret and you break the Nexus, that's game, that's wraps. Looks like Point Park going to be doing some damage on this turret, though.
Yeah, Imagine Club facing off here. Kakid and Flippy Stick still going at it up top there. Not a lot of movement. Gun and Jawbase Forever coming in as well. They're going to annihilate Clippers altogether.
Clippers getting overwhelmed
yes,
there. 3 in bot lane.
Yeah, was that a 3v1 or
yeah,
a 4v1?
3v1. If your Clippers there, I don't think you can even do much.
Yeah, it's that was a good move by Point Park.
Most certainly. Nice little regroup. Yeah. Love to see it. Love to see it. Wonder if that was on the wisdoms of Coach Chris.
Wisdoms of Coach Chris.
Yeah. Highway getting a little overwhelmed though by Llama Demon, but Kakid and Ralts are, hey, that's my teammate. That's my brother, man.
They're there with the instant karma. And,
instant trade.
Looks like they're moving up to help take care of Benson a little bit. Ralts is moving in on that.
Yeah, since Highway's dead.
Benson's going to pull back a little bit here. Ralts is scary. I wouldn't want to face him either, Benson. Jawbase Forever. Ricky Bobby also hanging out there, trying to help take care of it so Ralts can get away to the backside there.
Kakid realizing there's some damage on his turret here, so Flippy Stick going to be retreating after doing some chip damage.
Now, was Kakid getting overwhelmed by the minions, or was he in a 1v1? We're not entirely sure.
I think that when he was regrouping with Ralts to trade out Highway in mid lane, I think that he let go of top lane, and that's where Akron was like, yo, their jungler probably said, hey, top lane's open right now. Why don't we get some chip damage?
Yeah, and looks like they're coming back around for this turret here in bot as well. Imagine Club coming in quick to counter that, though.
Yeah, wow. I mean, Imagine Club is on the dot there. I think that's what Point Park were really talking about earlier, too, is being more aware of instantly what's happening around the map.
Imagine Club grouping back up with Highway just to make sure everybody's safe and moving out to protect the turret. And unfortunately, Highway is going to go down.
Plating also on the turrets going down means turrets are a lot more exposed now, and it's going to be a lot easier to take down some more turrets. So.
And it looks like Akron is very close to claiming this first one here, but Nujabes Forever and Imagine Club put up a great fight, fend off. Little bit of HP left there, and it's still standing. That's what matters at the end of the day.
It is standing. I mean, it is standing by a tooth and a nail, but at the end of the day, it is standing for sure.
One tooth and one nail is better than no tooth and no nail.
In a standing building. But I believe Point Park are definitely going to try and give that up, put their focus elsewhere. As unfortunate as to say that, but whenever Akron strikes, we don't know. Gold gap is a little shorter. It used to be 4,000. Now it looks like we're rounding about 3.7 thousand.
Yeah, closing in a little bit here on the gold.
Which is very good. Yeah, we are closing the gap a little bit, slowly but surely.
Getting a few more kills on the board as well, which is definitely nice to see. Point Park seems to be getting a little bit stronger and seems to be regrouping their strategies a bit to adjust on the fly here. And, you know, we love to see that. Looks like Jawbase Forever and Imagine Club are here trying to fend off Clippers from that
Point Park's
low
levels,
HP tower.
Point Park's levels are quite even this game, I have to say. I have to give props to Point Park for staying on par with them. Last game they definitely did fall off with the levels.
Yeah, it looks like we got an average of 9 for Akron, also an average of 9 for Point Park. So we're kind of staying even here.
Yeah, which is very nice.
You know, having a even level set gives a little bit more of a home field advantage here for Point Park.
For sure.
Last game they weren't able to match it, which is one of the main reasons it cost them. You know, Akron was just stronger and overall better because of that. But, you know, having them a bit more even definitely works in our favor a little bit. Got Kakid going in here on Llama Demon. They're both very low, and it looks like Llama Demon is going to get Kakid.
There's a little action in bot lane here. Clippers finding Ricky Bobby there in bot lane. However, there was a little 4v3 in favor of Point Park.
And Akron does take that first tower. Like you said, Point Park was willing to give that one up to, you know, strengthen themselves overall here.
And Benson found the gap as well. Highway was alone or helping out bottom lane with the rest of the Point Park members and Kakid in top. So, hey, their jungler is like, go in for that mid lane.
And we saw Highway and Ralts both pull over to help fend that off, though.
Yeah, exactly.
A little retreat from Benson, but not without getting about 1/4 of that health down. So
right. I want to see how. I'm curious to see how Point Park reacts to this setup here. I mean, at the same time, you know, losing a turret is not very good, but bounties are in. I mean, if Point Park can get some kills or get some objectives done, they can get some extra gold, and that can really step them into the game again.
You got Ralts looking more up top here, kind of swinging ways to protect the backside there where Kakid is. Watching that lane there to make sure nobody can come through. You got Imagine Club and Llama Demon here on this other turret.
Oh no, Llama Demon.
Llama Demon with a kill, and it looks like they're going to try and close in.
Certified.
Certified.
Yeah, we made sure last game we had to let everyone know that, you know, Llama Demon is the demon for sure.
Look like Ralts is going to take Flippy Stick here finally.
Doubling up with Keed, yeah.
Nice 2v1 they had going. And it looks like Akron's going to go for this third dragon here.
And Point Park are just so separated from this dragon. They're just spread out across the map. I mean, Akron are just so on top of their... Oh, the Rift Herald doing all this damage to this turret.
Looks like the Rift Herald is actually going to do a fair amount of damage there. Akron slayed another dragon. That makes it 3 for them. You know, one more and they get that buff.
Yeah, one more dragon. I want to see Point Park take the last dragon away from Akron here.
Yeah, stop them from getting that buff. That soul buff would be a great move on Point Park's part.
Well, most certainly. 17-6 in eliminations favoring Akron.
Looks like our gold difference is going to be about 6K now. We're falling back a little bit here. 17-6 kills. So it's falling back a little bit here, but Point Park just needs to regroup and focus on protecting their objectives.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of hard if you're Point Park too to really advance right now, especially considering all the circumstances that Akron and all the objectives that Akron got through here. Obviously the dragons and the turrets advantage, and with all that extra gold, it's kind of hard to really make a push forward, but Point Park can find something and take advantage of those any gap that Akron gives them. They can definitely get back into this game for sure.
Most definitely. It's never too late, right?
Never too late at all.
Never too late. We're coming up around 20 minutes here. We're at 18 minutes and 50 seconds, so fairly quick-paced game so far. Not necessarily in favor of Point Park, but
just in general, yeah. I mean, the pace of the game has really picked up for both maps here.
Looks like Imagine Club and Ricky Bobby here are fighting off some little minions as Akron is trying to complete objective here.
Point Park are just going to group up in the jungle, looks like here.
Yeah, it looks like
towards mid lane.
Looks like you have a heavy presence in mid. Kakid coming up that bot side lane.
Yeah, with Flippy Stick. They move from top lane to bottom lane. That's a new one. You haven't seen that too often.
Yeah, they cross the map together here.
Yeah, no, they're holding hands and they're going on little skips across the beach.
Skipping into the sunset together.
Yeah, exactly. Got
whistling their favorite tune.
Little story. They moved highway to top lane there as well with Benson. Interesting how both Akron and Point Park realized and shifted around and tried to switch things up.
Yeah, it's definitely a new set. I don't think we saw this set at all last game either.
Red turret does go down though. Akron find another turret on Point Park.
That makes 3 for Akron, 0 for Point Park here. Akron's definitely winning as far as objectives are going so far. They still have that 3 dragons though, waiting for the next dragon to spawn. See who gets it. And
Baron is going to be spawned in here, and Akron have eyes on that. Point Park did see the members of Akron regrouping towards the Baron, and they're probably letting each other know, like, hey, Akron are going for the Baron right now, so let's see if we can get it. If we can get the last pick on it.
And, looks like he's going to be trapped over here with Flippy Stick and not able to lend a hand. Ricky Bobby contemplating on the outside there what the best move is, trying to regroup a little bit.
Yeah, no, trying to call his team to regroup, but looks like Akron are doing non-stop damage to this Baron here.
Ricky Bobby's
highway going in though.
Oh yeah, highway great in. You got Ralts coming in as well. Kakid is now in the fight as well. Looks like you got out of
highway getting moon juice. The Baron
double kill coming in now as well.
What a great call by Point Park to try and gank this.
However, is going to get 3v1 unfortunately.
However, Akron, that was an ace by Akron there, which is unfortunate. But Point Park did have a good call to try and intersect this while the Baron was low, but it was just not the right time, unfortunately.
It was definitely a good battle, though. It was still a good move by Point Park.
I agree. Yeah, it was a nice level effort for sure. However, the buff is now on Akron. All members of Point Park are down except the Ricky at the moment. It's going to take some time for them all to come and respawn back in. So Akron are really going to take advantage of that time with their buff as well. And take
looks like Flippy Stick's doing a lot of damage on that turret, and he's going to go ahead and destroy it. That gives the turret favor of Akron with 4 now. Point Park still with none on the board. It's these boys are getting backed up into their spawn a little bit here.
If you're Point Park right now, you're really asking, I mean, well, what else can we do to try and get this one final push to try and make this game a little closer than it is?
You have Ricky Bobby coming up here on Moojus. He's going to retreat a little bit, though. He's not ready for that fight right now. He's going to come back around with Imagine Club and Ralts, who are going to flank from the backside, it looks like, coming a little bit deeper into bottom.
Clippers joining the fight, though.
And Clippers is going to go ahead and take Ralts. Yeah. Ricky Bobby and just Highway is left, and they are both taken down. Kakid is the last one standing up here, and looks like he's going to retreat a little bit with Llama Demon flying in.
there's all corners from Akron against Kakid here.
And Kakid is going to be cornered by
stunned and rooted, and that's going to be another ace for Llama Demon. Fantastic stuff out of Akron. I really appreciate the team play out of them. You know, you got to see how they're just playing grouped up together, and they're really just taking Point Park down. I mean, the gold advantage is also in favor of them too. They set the pace for the game for sure.
Yeah, they definitely came out strong, and that's what led them to the victory here.
Inhibitors down, yeah.
Very well organized and communicative team, I will say that.
For sure, but Point Park did do what they can there, especially with that Baron fight. They did do what they can to try and make one last-ditch effort to push to set the pace for the game.
Coming into the final stretch here, Akron is going to take this win
down, and
they're working on it now. Nexus is
about to be destroyed.
Nexus low, and that is
game 2.
That's going to be a defeat.
2-0 Akron.
Yeah, it's a defeat for Point Park, and Akron's going to win the series here, and that's a wrap for the game. So
it's a wrap indeed. Unfortunate for the Point Park Pioneers. However, I did like to see both teams definitely give it a nice little game in Summoner's Rift tonight.
We definitely saw some new formations out of Point Park as well.
We did, yeah. That was really surprising to see. I didn't expect Kaiki to go to bottom lane at all. Anytime I've seen the Pioneers play is the same setup. You know, I like how they switched it up, and Akron did realize that, and they adjusted the same exact way.
Yeah, and it's it was just a battle of a better team. Point Park did fall a little short today, but I don't think that they really technically played too bad at all.
I agree, yeah. I mean, their teamwork was a lot better against Stony Brook whenever I cast it. Like, I was really observing the game. I definitely saw a lot more teamwork out of Point Park and a little less individual stuff concurring to map 1, obviously. But they definitely haven't been improving for sure. And I got to say, it's only one place to go, right? Only up, right?
Yep. Can only go up. Only up is a great game, by the way.
It is a really good game.
So, yeah, it's that's a wrap on today's game. You know, reflecting back, what are your thoughts of that play style, though? What do you think could have been improved? What do you think we did great?
I definitely think Point Park should have been on top of their objectives more, you know? I definitely think they fell behind. I mean, I think at the same time, do you really blame them, though? I mean, well, they were all fighting and making sure they had all the lane control. Akron were they're just a lot more observant of when the objective spawned in, and they were just on top of their stuff, sending all their like 1 or 2 of their players to the objective, like the Dragon or the Baron, and immediately starting doing damage on it and telling their team to regroup as everyone would group in. And Point Park were like, hey, where'd they go? And I feel like there was not a whole lot of information cycled on Point Park's end to really be on top of it. But they did pick it up in map 2, and they realized it, and they were like, hey, we're not going to let them take the Baron. We're going to try and intersect it. And they almost did, but Akron did come in time into group up for that one last little effort.
And that's what I'm saying too. I agree with you 100%. I feel like Point Park definitely played more of a defensive style today.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Didn't push for those objectives. The defensive style, though, needs a little bit of tweaking. I think they're not quite ready to put that into play. I think they need to focus a little more objectively.
I agree.
And this game could go a different way. Unfortunately, the tables didn't turn for us today. But it's always a learning experience.
Exactly,
like I said, we got a great team of guys out there, and
they're always willing to learn and be ready to learn. Always, and they're always ready to give their all, no matter what.
Willingness to learn is the #1 thing that helps people grow. So,
and it's and we're all students here. We're all student athletes, and we're all individuals in college. You know, we're all we're learning, and at the same time, you know, what we learn in either our subjective sport or like thing that we do applies in the classroom as well, and vice versa. You know, things when we learn in the classroom definitely apply into game, and no matter what, I think these pioneers on the league team are definitely gonna work together and work their hardest to try and be better.
I agree, and it's definitely time for improvement as well. The season is still early.
Exactly, we're just riding we're in the yoke of it, you know.
Yeah, so it's you know, you have some new faces on the team, Ricky Bobby being one of them.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're just there's some little loose wires, but at the same time, we're putting the wires back in place. We're getting them all nice and straight, and won't be surprised soon if we see a dub.
Yeah, it's
next few days.
I think they need that one confidence booster win, and it'll help out. So
for sure.
But it's
jump them in the series.
Yeah, and we'll be closing out the stream now, though. Unfortunately, I hope you guys enjoyed us casting. Like I said, we've both never done it before. Ryan was on.
Yeah, I was on for one day last week, and it was a little fun. So. Everyone was asking for me back, you know, because I know how all of you wanted me back.
Look, if you want us back, drop in the chat so that when we go ask Coach Chris if we can do this again, we can be like, yo, Coach, everybody's in favor of us. Like, come on, we got to.
We're the favorites. We're the favorites, you know.
So, go ahead and drop hashtag Ryan and Shandon in chat.
Ryan and Shandon.
Hashtag's the theme today, I guess. So But we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the stream here and go make sure our team's doing all right and not too defeated here because they still played great regardless. So thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to check out all of our socials. You'll see a lot of game recap, also just some fun posts going out over the next couple weeks. So go get connected.
Absolutely.
Everything is linked in our Twitch bio as well. So go check that out. But thank you guys for joining up today.